Hey YouTube, how you doing? Big E here. How's everything? Welcome to another movie review. Today's movie review, I'm going to be reviewing an ultimate Disney classic from the 90s. If you like a lot of Disney classic, animated classics from the 90s like me, well, you're in the right place for this movie review. We're going to be reviewing The Lion King. Yep, The Lion King was released in the summer of 1994 from Walt Disney Pictures, and it's a classic. It's directed by Rob Minkoff and Roger Allers in their directorial debut, featured directorial debut, and it has a budget of over $45 million with a box office of $968.4 million, and there were two sequels that followed up to it, one in 1998 and a prequel in 2004. And there was a Lion King series called The Lion King Timon and Pumbaa, ran from 95 to 99, and The Lion Guard, which ran from 2016 to 2019, and I never really got into The Lion Guard, but I got into Timon and Pumbaa. I used to watch the reruns of it on Toon Disney, I remember, and it was a classic. And I never really got into the Lion King 2019 live action hybrid film. Not really into the remakes much, but this movie, yeah, it's a classic, and it has a 92% on Rotten Tomatoes, an 8.5 out of 10 on IMDb, and on Metacritic it has an 88%. And the plot of this film, this ultimate Disney classic, is it's it says, experience the power and majesty that is The Lion King with its unforgettable story, Academy Award-winning music, and breathtaking animation and beloved characters. You'll be inspired by the tale of the cub Simba. He's a cub and an adult. As Jonathan Taylor Thomas from TV's Home Improvement voices Simba as a cub, and Matthew Broderick is the voice of Simba as an adult, and both did a very, very good job. And he's a feisty lion cub. He just can't wait to be king and his journey to claim his place in the circle of life. And that's where you would see in the beginning of the movie, Rafiki the baboon, voiced by Robert Guillaume, may he rest in peace, holds Simba. They show with all the crowd of African safari animals, holds Simba up in the air, haul him as the future king and everything. He's going to be the future king, and I love that song in the beginning. There's a lot of good songs in this movie I really like the beginning. The beginning of this, that it's the circle of life and it moves us all. And we'll get into the music later on. But it's about young Simba he's destined to become king of, and his friend Nala, she is voiced by Niketa Calame as a young Nala, and Moira Kelly from the early 90s ice skating movie The Cutting Edge. She voices Nala as an adult, and Simba's wicked evil uncle Scar, voiced by Jeremy Irons. Jeremy Irons did a very fantastic job as Scar right here, and he wants to kill Mufasa and Simba, and he has three friends hyena friends, Shenzi, voiced by Whoopi Goldberg, Bonsai by Cheech Marin. Ooh, I think she liked me, man. And Jim Cummings as Ed, the laughing hyena. Yeah, and all the voice actors in this movie do a pretty good job. But yeah, so and Scar sets up like a stampede of wildebeest by luring Simba and his father in there. Well, Simba eventually was caught in there, and then Zazu voiced the hornbill right here. He's voiced by Rowan Atkinson, who does a very good job as well. Saw Simba was in there and told, because Scar told Mufasa that Simba was in there, and Zazu told Mufasa where Simba was at, and then Mufasa went to go get Simba, saves him, and then Simba's out the wildebeest stampede, but Mufasa's still in there, and then Mufasa makes it out of there and trying to climb up there and asks Scar for help. Then Scar just grabs Simba, then Mufasa, and he said, "Long live the king." And then Mufasa falls down into the wildebeest stampede, and then that's when Simba found Mufasa dead, and then Scar tells him that the king that Mufasa's dead, and Scar falsely lying, claiming that if it wasn't for Simba, he'd still be alive, and then he tells Simba to run away and never return, and then that's when he tells the hyenas to go after him, but then the hyenas were chasing Simba to get him, but then Simba just escapes. He goes into that thorn bush, but then the hyenas went in and then just Bonsai sees like what he stops, but then the other hyena, as Simba makes it out of the thorn bush, and then Bonsai accidentally fell into the to the thorn bush, and he's like, oh, and then they refuse to go back into that thorn bush, and then Simba just ran away, kept running away, but then Simba was unconscious, like dehydrated in the desert, and there were buzzards and vultures on him and pecking at him. But then the warthog right here, the meerkat and the warthog, Timon, voiced by Nathan Lane, and Ernie Sabella, who voices Pumbaa, both they did a fantastic job. They scare the buzzards away, and they find Simba, young cub Simba, and they take him back, and then they squirt water on him, and he's revived and everything, and then Simba spends most of like his life with Timon and Pumbaa, and he's raised by Timon and Pumbaa, and they help him and everything. He's food, everything, and Simba learns a new phrase from Timon and Pumbaa, and in my opinion, this phrase is one of the greatest phrases of, especially in Disney history, Hakuna Matata. It means no worries for the rest of your days. That's what it means. Hakuna Matata means no worries in Swahili, and then eventually, as Simba, they show Simba going from a cub to a teenager to an adult, and then eventually Simba's friend Nala comes and sees Simba, and they bond and have fun and everything, and then Simba kind of like turned his back on Timon and Pumbaa and everything, and then that's when they play that song, "Can you feel the love tonight?" And I love that. I love the Elton John version of that song. Nala tells Simba he had to come back and take he had to take his and stop Scar, and then they get in an argument, and he said he couldn't go back because of what happened to his father. But then they turn each other up. Then they just turns each other's back, and then Simba just eventually Rafiki finds Simba, and then the baboon, and then he helps Simba, who he find out who he really is, and then he tells Simba he knows his father, and Simba going, I hate to tell you this, but he died a long time ago. And he said, wrong again, he's alive. I'll show him to, and then he shows Simba, shows Mufasa's face in the water. He's angry because of what Simba has become, and he said Simba must take his place in the circle of life, and he said, remember who you are. You are my son and the one true king. Remember who you are. And then Simba had second thoughts when he said he couldn't go back, but then eventually, and then Rafiki took a stick and hit Simba in the head. Ooh, geez, what was that for? And he's like, it's in the past. He's like, yeah, but it still hurts. And then Simba just went back, and then Nala looking for Simba, and she finds Timon and Pumbaa, and then that's when Rafiki gave him the news that Simba the king has returned, and then eventually Simba's back to gets back to Pride Rock, and then he sees the damages and how screwed up it got and how destroyed it's gotten, and then eventually he sees Nala, and Timon and Pumbaa came to help him, and they set up like a diversion and everything. And I love how Timon and Pumbaa were dressed up like the dancing the hula and everything, and the pig roast thing for Pumbaa, and then oh god, that was funny. Pumbaa, and then that's when the hyenas were chasing Timon and Pumbaa, and Scar, and then Simba found Scar, and then Scar saw Simba. He thought it was Mufasa, and then Simba went to go confront Scar about everything, about what's been going on and everything, and then that's later on Scar sees. Then Simba's like falling off the cliff, and then Scar's like, "Oh, I remember. This is just the way your father looked before he died. And here's my little secret. I killed Mufasa." And Simba had that memory, and then Simba bounce and confronts Scar again. He's like, "Murderer! Tell him the truth now!" And he's like, "The truth. All right, I did it. So they can hear you. I killed Mufasa." And then all the lionesses come, and then the hyenas attack Simba and everything. And then the lionesses, even like Nala, came on, and his mother Sarabi went to get the hyenas and stop him. And then I love when Timon and Pumbaa come to the rescue eventually, and then he's like, "Get out of here!" And he's kicking they're kicking the hyenas the way they kicked those buzzards when they saved Simba, and then Rafiki. Oh, by the way, that's Rafiki right there. He comes and stops them with his stick and hits. He's like, "Ah!" And he hits the hyenas, and then eventually. And then that part where the hyenas chasing Timon, he finds Zazu in the skull cave. He's like, "Let me out!" And he's like, and then Pumbaa's there, and he's like to the hyenas, "Drop him!" And they're like, "Hey, who's the pig? You talking to me?" "Oh, they call him a pig? Are you talking to me?" And Pumbaa's like, "They call me Mr. pig! Oh, and he's like, take that, you, and attacks the hyenas, and the hyenas are running, and Timon and Pumbaa and Zazu are like, yeah! And that's when Scar finds, Simba finds Scar and chases, and then confronts him one more time, and he's like, Scar's like, making a lie going, it was the family. I am a family. It was the hyenas who are the real enemy. It was their fault. It was their idea. And then that's when he told, and he's like, you wouldn't kill your uncle. He's like, no, Scar, I'm not like, and then Simba eventually tells Scar the same thing he told him after Mufasa's death. Run away, Scar, and never return. And then he said, as you wish, your majesty. And then he throws like fire ashes in Simba's face. He's like, ah! And then Simba and Scar start fighting, and then eventually Scar tried jumping on Simba, then Simba just jumped him into the hole in the flames where the hyenas were down there, and that's when he said, my friends. And the hyenas heard what he said to Simba, and they're like, friends? I thought you said we were the enemy. Yeah, that's what I heard, Bonsai said. And they're like, Ed's like, and they're like, he's like, and then they attack Scar, and then that's when Scar's death occurred, and then it starts raining. All the flames were gone, and then Nala and Sarabi were they congratulated him on defeating Scar, and they loved and everything, and Simba, and then Rafiki see Simba, and then they hug, and that's when Rafiki tells Simba it's time to take his place as king, and then eventually Simba is like, he hears Mufasa's voice in the clouds, and he's like, remember, and then that shared the final roar, and he's like, rah! And all the lionesses join, and then all the Pride Rock and everything's restored and back to normal, and then Nala and Simba are married, and then Timon and Pumbaa join him and everything, and then that they show in the end Rafiki holding Simba and Nala's new daughter Kiara, who's mostly basically introduced in the second Lion King film, and then eventually the story continues in The Lion King 2: Simba's Pride, which was released in 1998, and then there will be a prequel released to direct to DVD and video, released in 2004, The Lion King 1.5. I love all three Lion King movies, but I kind of like the first one the best. And the music in this was pretty good. Like in the end of the end credits would be Elton John. I definitely love Elton John singing, "Can you feel the love tonight?" And matter of fact, I'm glad I'm on here. Lion King. Let me see what Lion King. It says it won an Academy Awards. It won. I guess it says it won Best Song, Original Song, and Best Original Score. But the score by Elton John and Tim Rice. Hans Zimmer won Best Original Score for The Lion King and everything. And I love Hans Zimmer. He does pretty good. He's done other like Days of Thunder with Tom Cruise and John C. Reilly, and but yeah, I'd give this movie a 10 out of 10. Especially, it's a classic. And I remember I saw a clip, Siskel and Ebert gave this movie 2 thumbs up. And it does deserve 2 thumbs up. And I mentioned, also I wanted to mention, like I said, Roger Allers and Rob Minkoff directed this, and they did a pretty good job with it, and it's also and it's like I mentioned in the beginning, it has a 92% on Rotten Tomatoes. In my opinion, it deserves an 100 or more, but it definitely it deserves it. And also, there was an IMAX version released in 1994. I mean, IMAX version released in 2002. The Morning Report sequence, and that's on this Lion King Special Edition DVD. It shows a different the Morning Report sequence. Let me look. Morning Report, voiced by Simba singing that. He's voiced by Evan Saucedo. The Lion King Morning Report sequence, the 2002 version, and Jeff Bennett voices sing as the song for Zazu in the Morning Report sequence, the IMAX version. And they were both, but I kind of like the original version of this better. And also, there's something I want to discuss about this movie. There was a subliminal message in this movie about when the scene where Simba, Timon, and Pumbaa are hanging out, and Simba, he's on like by the edge of the cliff, and he's thinking about his dad, and he's like about his old life, and because some like Timon and Pumbaa said, and he's like, oh, and then all the dust, and somebody conspiracy theories, they said it said sex in that. What the heck? I mean, seriously, I don't think it's disgusting. I don't care about that. No matter what people say, I like this movie. Like no matter what, keep your subliminal messages to yourself or your opinion. Whoever says it, just please. But seriously, it definitely deserved. The voice cast in this was pretty good. The directors did a good job. The music was good. And I also wanted to mention in this movie, like I met James Earl Jones, he voices Simba's father Mufasa, and Madge Sinclair voices Sarabi, Simba's mother. And Madge Sinclair, may she rest in peace. She died passed away a year and a half after The Lion King was released. And also, James Earl Jones and Madge Sinclair not only played in voiced a couple in this movie, played a couple in this. They also played a couple in Coming to America from 1988 with Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall. Yeah, Madge Sinclair and James Earl Jones was in Coming to America. They were Prince Akeem, played by Eddie Murphy's mother and father, the king of whatever that empire is. I don't know. But I haven't seen Coming to America in a while, but yeah. But other than that, I give this movie a 10 out of 10 for the music, the directors, everything, even the voice cast. So, alright YouTube, nice seeing you. Take it easy and be safe and stay out of trouble. I hope you enjoyed my movie review of the 1994 Lion King. Take it easy, be safe, and stay out of trouble. Peace.